Okay, today, guys, what I want to go through is, should we say, some top tips, some top tricks that maybe things you can consider when you've got stock on sale on Amazon and your prices are dropping. Now, it might be there's a lot of competition, maybe penny under prices, all the common issues you're going to get. And hey, we all go through this time and time again. It's just the nature of being in a competitive marketplace. This is just trade in general, whether it be on Amazon, eBay, anywhere. You are going to have people who are going to be competing against you. So if you don't know about me, my name is Thomas Parkinson and I run the Amazon arbitrage lead service in the UK, FastTrackFBA, and we provide leads for Amazon sellers who can see as all the deals that we find and then pick and choose the leads that they want. So if there's something that you're interested in, drop or have a look down below and we're going to have a link to that. But also as well, I'm an Amazon seller for 3 years now. I've been doing it full time and I've been doing 6 figures every year that I've been on selling on Amazon. And what I like to do is just share some of the tips and tricks and talk about the journey, talk about what's going on, but also talk about what I see other people going through, because we're all at different stages, and share my thoughts on that as well. So if you like this content, give me a big thumbs up. I really love that because it just lets me know that this is the kind of thing you're after. And then also, so drop me a message down below. Let me know if this is something that is of interest to you, that you like doing. And then finally, if you like this and you want to see more, be sure to give me a big subscribe. Click that right there. That's going to be the subscribe button, which allows you to see all the videos that come out straight away. It's just going to help you in your Amazon journey and learn. And hey, if you've got questions, I will do those videos for you, so drop them in the comments. But let's get on. So this question today, or should I say the reason for this video today, very much came around seeing a question in a forum, and this was from someone who I've met personally and ironically out in Vietnam, called Daniel Bateman. And Daniel asked a question which I've seen time and time again and I've gone through. Now, I'll kind of summarize what he said, but he said he's been frustrated recently, and we've all seen this, is the fact that he gets stock, he buys it, he sources it, and then he ships it into Amazon for FBA, and once it's live in FBA, the price starts going down, 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 down. And he starts seeing there's lots of other sellers, they're penny underpricing. He said it's really frustrating. He's having to wait a couple of months and for the price to recover, or even just break even. And he's asking, is there anyone else having this issue? And one person that came back, and trust me, I loved it, and I've met him as well, is Brian Isby, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, he came back with some top tips, and I really just want to take those on board and talk about what Brian said, but also as well add a few of my own to that, because I think there's a lot we can learn from this kind of issue, because we've all gone through it, but also as well some top things that you can take away. So what Brian mentioned, and I'll kind of talk through and add them in, is whenever you're doing your sourcing, whether you're sourcing different categories, different things, you need to have your own approach. If you're doing the simple tried and tested methods, like the simple ones where it's like just buy from the big name brands doing the clearance section, you're going to be competing against everyone else who does that. So if every video out there, every training course, everything is saying do this one thing, everyone else is doing that one thing, and you're going to get number of other sellers, 10, 100,000 other sellers doing exactly the same thing as you. And what that's going to mean is that you're going to be competing against all of them. So think about how you're sourcing and what you're doing. And I'll come a bit onto that a bit later. But Brian also mentioned something really good, which I'd really recommend to anyone, is go wide, but not deep. So if you think about like you've got X amount of money to spend in your Amazon inventory, go wide. Buy 200 products, maybe 1, 2, 5 deep, and have 200 different products on sale. Because hey, if one product or one set of products, i.e. have too much competition or it doesn't sell, what you can do then is quite simply just say, doesn't matter. Okay, not a problem, we'll just break out, we'll get our money back on them. But the rest of them, you're going to be fine on. But if you brought just a few products, like say for example 10, but you brought loads of them, you've gone really deep, and if say only 5 of these 10 products are now you can't sell, well that's half your inventory, and you can no longer sell half your inventory. So the top tip there, and I really liked it, was look, go really wide, buy super wide, get as many products as you can, test, and then once you find something that works and it's selling well and the competition and thing, buy again, keep rebuying that. And me and my business, we are testing all the time. Literally, I have conversations with my purchasing manager. I should buy it, I shouldn't, no we shouldn't. And we're like, right, let's test it. We're on the fence, let's test it, buy 3, let's see what happens and go from there. So the other one is look at how your setup is. Now a lot of people do FBA, or they might even do merchant fulfilled. Now if you are super on it, super driven, super competitive, you can buy these products maybe at a discount, at clearance, all the big sales. Get them into Amazon quicker than your competition. For example, I know people who will wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. They will get down to the stores. They will buy. They will literally do all the scanning for RA or do the OA, what they need to buy on the day of the sale because they know about this already. And then they will take that and they will get home. They'll have it prepped into a shipment ready by like 10, 11 a.m. and UPS are picking up by 2 p.m. and it's probably, if you're lucky, it might be on sale the next day in Amazon. Whereas a lot of other people are buying it like 6 o'clock at night, they ship it to a prep center, maybe 24, 48 hours later, and then eventually that then gets to Amazon. And it's a big difference. It's not as fast, it's not as efficient. And the big thing for you is just to think about is saying, actually, this is about your speed, how quick you can sell on. Is that back in? Oh, plugged in, best performance. Fun. There you go. Okay, cool. And how quick you can sell. So look, if you can buy your stock quick, if you can buy it early in the morning and get it shipped in quicker than the competition, you're going to be able to maintain that price higher. But also, you've just got to be aware that if that's your methodology, don't go buying lots of stock that's going to last you months. It's going to be a couple of days, maybe a week's worth of stock at tops. Very super fast moving lines. That's what you're going to be looking for. The other one Brian said, which I really agree with as well, is avoid national sales. There are some national sales which are really good, but some national sales are not. For example, if you are only sourcing Argos, Tesco, Debenhams, the big name brands, and you are buying only things like toys and games, then you are going to be competing against every man and his dog. Like these people, these deals from Argos, Tesco's, Debenhams, toys and games are going to be on every single sourcing software. They're going to be on every single lead service. Every VA is going to be manually finding them because they are deals. And when you look at them initially, yes, they are deals. They look great. But the problem is everyone's selling them. And it might be that this product is selling 100, 200 units a month. But your problem comes is that there are so many other people who are buying that, and there's 1,000 items in stock. That's 5 months worth of stock, from the supplier that's now going to get shipped into Amazon, and you're just not going to get the sales that you want. So just if you're careful, avoid those sales, or when you're buying that stock and you're thinking about those sales, just be really mindful of where you're buying it from, how likely is other people to know this, and to really reduce down the amount you're purchasing so that you're not so deep on those lines, but maybe you're just like, actually it's a little bit less. And I had a really good example. I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I bought, I think it was 200 ambulances at £30 a pop, Playmobil. Sold through really well, really happy. Next year, some kind of a different ambulance came out. I bought same amount, 200 again, and you know what? A year later, I still had probably about 100 of them. I was like, this is just crazy. But this is the very nature of Amazon, and I learnt my lesson. And this year, I didn't go buying any ambulances from Playmobil. So just be aware. And hey, if it is a big sale, a big store, you might say if it's a big supply, those deals that you might normally look at going, all the sales are on the on the conservative side. Just like, no, it's not even worth it. They need to be doing triple-digit sales numbers every month just to make it even possibly viable. And even then, if it's in the low hundreds, you might be like, the amount of people are going to be buying this product, I'm probably just going to pass on it. And you learn that after the years. So really top tip there, and I really like that one, is say just avoid the national sales. There are so many other opportunities to buy. And hey, interesting enough, national sales, they are on sourcing lists, lead services, everything, and these are all the products that the people who have just started selling on Amazon are buying. So they are more likely to penny pinch, reduce the price, crash the price, and because they want the sales, and they don't realise they're just ruining it. So just be mindful of that. And then also as well, Brian mentioned a really good one that I really liked, is working out how long it takes for a product to sell with the current competition in stock. Now, some good tips with looking at things like FBA Multi-Tool or Keeper, which tells you how much stock's in supply. So, for example, if you've got a listing which sells 5 units per month and there are 4 sellers on that listing and they've all got 5 items, then you know that that's roughly about 4 months worth of stock. So there's 20 items in stock right there, and it's only selling 5 per month. So that's going to be 4 months supply. So you might go, no, not really. That's not really going to work for me. But what you might do is, understanding that same methodology, you might look at it and go, there are a lot of sellers on this listing, or there aren't enough, and maybe I can dump my stock quickly. If that is in that case, and there was, let's say for example, 4 sellers with 5 months, or 4 sellers, and they've got 5 items of stock, and it's only selling 5 per month, so that's going to be 4 months worth of stock. You might just look at that and go, well, I'm not going to get my money back until 4 months down the line. I'm just going to crash out. I'm just going to break it even. I'm going to crash the price, and I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to liquidate my position in this stock, and what I'm going to do is I'm then going to go buy some other stock which I can actually make some money on. So for you is kind of have a mindset to think about it whenever you're faced with this problem, i.e. do I stay in or do I get out, is make that judgment call, and then once you've made it, is stick with it. Unless the market changes, but if you're going to get out, liquidate your stock, get your price out, not a problem. Or if you're going to stay with it, and stick with that, because that's what you're going to do. Don't kind of half and half, because that's like, I've held it for 2 months and now I'm not making any money. You might as well just dropped out after 1 week and said, no, I'm out of here, it's not going to work. So another one which Brian recommended, and I really like this as well, is setting your repricer 1p above the competition. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of repricers will do it. Well, when someone matches me, I want to go 1p below them. It's a really bad tactic, and there's no need to do it. So you can match the buy box price, and it will share. That's fine. If you're 1p lower, it doesn't do anything else. It just keeps putting the reprices down lower and lower, because one person matches you, and then, or you match the competition, then the competition goes 1p lower, and then your repricer matches, and then he goes 1p lower, and you just keep going down, down, down. So Brian said it's a really good one, is saying actually putting the repricer 1p above. So you stop that kind of down, 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 down. You keep hovering there, and Amazon will still rotate that buy box, which I really like. So the next top tip which was shared, and I liked this one as well, was actually is while you're doing that analysis, looking at the number of sellers, is in any typical listing, what you're going to have is it might be like there are 4 sellers on a listing, but only 2 of them are actually fighting for it. These 2 are at £10 and these 2 are at 15. So these 2 are fighting, and actually these 2 don't really mean anything. They're not doing anything at all. So you only really got to concern yourself with these. And there's many times where I've seen a product that I deal that's had probably like 20 FBA sellers on it. But interesting enough, I found a source price way below what theirs is. So even if I were to get mixed up in that kind of top end, kind of hustle and bustle of I'd be making a killing. But their source price is so much higher than mine that I'm actually quite happy to sell it down here and still just below them and make a lot of money and know that I can sell it quick. So for you, is just when you're doing that analysis of looking into a product to see whether it's going to be, do I need to get out now or do I need to stay in, or even before that when you're buying, let's say who's actually competing for this buy box. Is it everyone, all the FBA sellers, or is it just these 3? And if so, how viable is it then? And once you take into consideration you're on the listing, are you going to be getting enough sales and profit to make it worthwhile? So the final point that I'll kind of add on to that is, and I talk about this, is like when you find yourself in this situation, as Daniel is in regards to, he's buying stock, he's shipping it into Amazon, and he's just finding that price goes down, down, down. My big question is straight away is just look at what you're doing. Like generally look at what you're doing. So look at how you're sourcing, the methodology you're using. So and change it up. So look at different types of categories. If you're sourcing toys and games all the time, you're going to be competing against predominantly newer sellers. But if you look at things like maybe DIY, watches, sports, grocery, these are going to be categories that other people aren't so interested in, aren't so familiar with, and you're probably going to get more experienced sellers. So it's going to give you a bit more experience, and also as well, you're less likely to get that kind of penny underprice, or maybe 20 people jumping on a listing. It's just less likely to happen. So change up maybe the categories you're looking at. Also as well, look at suppliers who are not the mainstream ones. So we talked earlier about like Argos, Debenhams, Tesco's, for etc. For you, have a think about like looking at completely different suppliers. Go off the beaten track. Go to page 10 of Google when you're searching for something. And the reason is yes, they might not have so many deals, but once you find a deal with them, less likely that anyone else is going to find it. It's going to be more unique, and odds on it's probably going to be more replenishable. So this is going to benefit you because you are going to be the only person on that listing selling it, which is going to be great. So have a look at who you're supplying from, and I'd even go so far that maybe even look at ones which aren't on sourcing software, which aren't on, people don't use all the time, or maybe you haven't really heard of. So that can be quite advantageous. And then finally, the question which I would ask is, I think if you're using things like leads lists, and I'll be honest, I'm a provider of a leads list myself, is look at how many your deals you're getting from your leads list which are crashing, because I think only us in FastTrackFBA, we show you how many people. We actually show you how many people we've sold that lead to and how many people we'll sell it to as a maximum. But if you're finding that your leads lists are always going down, 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 or the leads you're getting from your leads list are dropping down, then you need to question, hey, how many people is this lead getting shared with? Because if this deal that I'm being given can only support 10 sellers and it's being shared with 30 sellers, 50 sellers, then my God, that isn't a lead anymore. That's just a hole to put your money in. So you need to be careful about, especially when you're sharing information, is like how many people are getting information and buying it. So just be mindful of your leads list. And I'd always recommend anyone, whether it be using my service or any other service or any other sourcing software, is whenever you get a deal, you find a deal and you buy it, record where it came from. Because what you want to do is be looking at, all my deals from this service work really well, all my deals from this service aren't working so well, and when I do this type of sourcing, like manual sourcing on page 10 of Google, they're the ones that never crash. And you're like, I should do more of them and less of like the ones which aren't working. So for you is just really remember that and track, what's working and what's not, and that's really going to help you identify and understand what kind of what deals are working for your business and what are not, and hopefully that will help resolve, number one, the issues you're getting immediately in regards to when stock plummets on delivery into Amazon, like Brian talked about, and then also about doing long-term strategic changing in how you source and doing different sourcing methodology to make that work for your business, so long-term you don't have to be so reactive to plummeting stock. But that's a little bit about my thoughts on that conversation between Daniel and Brian, and something that we've all gone through as well. And hopefully you found that interesting and it's been beneficial for you, and hopefully you've got some top takeaways that you can use for your business as well. But what I will say is, if you like that and you find it useful, give me a thumbs up. I love a good thumbs up. And also drop me some comments. Maybe there's some other tips that that I haven't talked about that you would just share down there, that when you're dealing with penny under prices, because oh my God, we all hate them. And then finally, if you like this and you want to get some more information when it comes out live, click the subscribe button down here. You are going to get that the moment it comes out. But from me, Thomas Parkinson at FastTrackFBA, thank you very much.